other questions,
Nope.
comments? Okay. I gotta look at this. This is a resolution.
If you want to give the rest of your speech, you can.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
Yes.
Lennius?
Yes.
Vaughn?
No.
Hill?
Yes.
Dallenbach?
Yes.
Grover?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Motion carried. We will contact them and let them know to get started as soon as possible, and I will also contact Jean and Brian to let them know it has been approved. The memorandum thing did get approved by the school board at their last meeting, so we all are on the same page for that. Okay, onward and upward. Old business. Motion to approve the proposal submitted by Office Town for the mounting and installation of the projector in City Hall Council chambers totaling $1,575. You should have had that in your packet as far as them giving us credit back. The stand that was back there that we pulled up here, we would get credit back for that, and they would be mounting it somewhere in the ceiling. I don't know if Doug can explain more. See, I'm a visual person, and I don't see how this works.
Just go down to Bill's small party room and you'll get a perfect example of what it's going to look like.
Yeah,
It just comes down with basically a pole supporting it.
There'll be a pipe coming out of the ceiling, there'll be a platform that sits on, just faces the thing. You'll have the cables running from there over to probably this wall.
Through the ceiling?
Yeah,
coming
it'll go
down?
up through the ceiling above the tile and probably down the wall over here like the conduit is for those sitting behind John.
Yeah.
And then you just plug whatever computer into the outlets over here to make it work.
Since this isn't my expertise, I did not want to make that decision. I figured you guys should maybe
It's your best
together.
possible, actually, unless you want to have a 6-foot stand standing here all the time, which gets in the way, and you can knock it over and cause problems and break it. When it's up there, you ain't gonna touch it. So the only thing is cleaning it every now and then, but that often. So,
Most classrooms have these now, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All the schools that way.
Okay, and so people will have to still bring a laptop to
Yes.
plug their system into, and that automatically will, I mean, how does that go into the ceiling?
it will be.
It'll have a long cord running down to a wall
The co-
That will
somewhere.
come across and plug into it?
We'll
Okay.
probably do it over here along the wall. You wouldn't want it in the middle. The only question I have is, does that thing turn on and off with a
Remote.
remote? Is there a remote for it?
Yes.
There is
Yes.
a remote with it?
Okay. As
Yeah.
long as
Okay.
that's,
Good
because
answer.
otherwise you're gonna be up on a chair trying to turn it on.
You're the tallest, right?
Nope.
Bob's covering his face for some reason.
He's the tallest, maybe, I don't know.
But I think that's your best possible. But at the same time-
We have purchased the equipment, we already own that. The fact is that if we decide to mount it, then they will credit us back the stand, and then we have the price of the $1,575 to actually get it mounted, and that is in our budget to pay for.
So moved.
That's already been paid.
Second.
Okay, who wants to? Motion by Hill, who are
Grover.
you taking?
Huh?
Grover.
Oh, Bob.
I'm sorry. His head was moving, yours wasn't.
I didn't do that, she did that one.
Okay.
We've been here so long, we're getting seen.
Everyone watching us tonight is getting their money's worth.
We're being entertaining tonight. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
A question, we were talking at one time about our sound system, which is pathetically inadequate.
Yes.
Have we got any bids or anything from anybody on that?
I have a couple of companies that Steve's left for me to look at, or that I don't know if he'd
That's all,
talked
I
to
just
them or
wondered if
whatever.
we were still
Yeah.
following up.
That is our next thing we need to fix.
Okay.
But along with our telephone system, it kind of needs to be a
What's
combination.
the matter with the string and tin can?
Is
Tin can's a little dented.
the microphone and cabling something that Office Town can investigate? We really need to get that thing working,
No, from my understanding, not.
really.
No.
Wow.
The sound system.
Yeah.
No.
It's just got- Okay.
But we can get right on that for you guys
Sounds good.
in all our spare time. Okay. Number 11, discussion on exercising the moral obligation benefit to reimburse expenses incurred for a sewer backup. And that is, sorry, John, to keep you here so long, but that's why he stayed by my request. This should have been in your packets also about the situation that we have. Mrs. Hoskins. It is something that was turned into our insurance company. The insurance company did not find any reason that the city was responsible, so they are refusing to pay the claim. And Mrs. Hoskins was notified of that fact. But then they did tell us that under our ICAP program, we have what is called you're gonna correct me if I'm wrong, right? A moral obligation to pay benefits that could be extended, but it can only be up to $5,000 per occurrence and only $10,000 for the year. Problem is, if we approve this and pay her, pay any of her damages, we set a precedent. And it could go back 5 years, I believe. If there was other people that had claims, they could all of a sudden start submitting those, and, you know, now a way of separating this out to not open a can of worms for other situations, so
Did they ever
please give
figure
your
out what
input.
it was?
I'm sorry?
Did they ever figure out what caused it?
No. Well, they were cleaning, the pipe or the sewer line was clogged, so they did their surge thing to open it, and when they did that, which is normally what they do, some came back into her house. But it wasn't necessarily what we did. And it was on a cleaning program that we have for all 4 quadrants of the city, and it was on time for that. So, I mean, there's nothing we can find that the city's responsible for having it happen. It's just, they're at the very end, or the very beginning, I guess, of the line, I think, going down 14th Avenue, so.
And I would echo that. I have not been told, or I can't find out what the city did negligently to cause the problem. I don't think we breached any duty, and so I don't think if we get sued, we're gonna get stuck paying the bill. So that's my assessment. You know, that, and who knows whether I'm right or not, because I'm not wearing a black robe, but I don't see what we did wrong. I think John agrees with me.
Absolutely, Carter. Let's face it, we've had an unusual 2013. Every community has had the same problem. The citizens need to realize a little bit that they have an endorsement that they can put on their homeowner policy to take care of these issues. I carry it on mine.
Is there a way we can make sure you are taped so people can hear this out in the community, so they realize that you are? Can you maybe just?
The meeting's taped, and then that goes out on our website.
Does it?
so,
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So I want the city, people in the city to understand
and
why
the
this
press is
decision is
here.
made. Oh, and he's gonna do a good job. It's on you, John.
But
I'll remind him.
There is a option for the citizens to take care of those things on themselves. And going back to who's liable for what, most insurance carriers that I know of in the city in the last year have not even tried to subrogate against the city at all. So they already know that it's not necessarily the city's fault. Personally, I went through this in 2013. It's not the city's fault. It rained 6 inches in 4 hours for me to have water in my basement. The city does the best it can with the tools it has to work with. And I know in the parts of town, we have some inundated sewer situations that need to be upgraded. But again, that's not the city's fault either. This has to be handled gradually. You just can't start going around town and start digging everything up to replace it. The latest incident we got a week ago, there might, keyword might, be handled a little bit different because the well was left in the ground back in 1960, whatever. So that might be a little different issue. But the backup sewer things, people gotta understand, they might as well call their insurance agency company and say, I want that endorsement. The endorsement's gonna cost them anywhere from $100 to $250 a year. And it's gonna be limited. They're gonna have anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 limit on the homeowner policies. But I strongly encourage anybody who's got a concern with that is to throw that on there. $20 a month, in most cases, on the high side. Now, if the city powers to be feel a little stronger that maybe they want to look into, should the coverages be enhanced a little bit to handle some of these issues, you would be encouraged to send a letter of recommendation to ICAP's board, and they will reevaluate this. They do repeats, and they do get together on a periodic basis and listen to communities on coverage that they would like to see happen. I mean, you have Tom Roth as a board member, and he is a city administrator from Comanche, who was nominated by Bellevue. He is one of you who's on that board. They will look at that and see if that's something they need to do. If they, a lot of communities looking at, should we or should we not endorse this, then they might offer that. Keyword might offer that. A normal insurance company will just probably say no, but these people will look at that. Is there gonna be a cost to it? Absolutely. What it's gonna be, who knows? But I do know from the insurance industry standpoint, the backup sewer endorsement has been a losing endorsement for the last 10 years. It runs red ink year after year on a homeowner side. So plan on, if that would get offered on a city side, you would be facing a lot of adversity. So you do have that moral obligation clause in your policy. It does. $10,000 max aggregate per year. So we pay for Mike. We use up $5,000. Now Dustin says, hey, this happened to me. We pay $5,000. Okay? Bob says, hey, I had a cleanup mess too. You're out of money. Program's over.
If it was Bob, that would be okay though, wouldn't it?
But Skip, no, I'm.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah, there you go.
This from the guy that wanted to go to Hawaii.
And you really want to evaluate whether you want, the moral obligation, when you do feel like, yes, we messed up. Yep, that's what it's for. But for every little thing, you gotta be careful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, John.
Anybody have any other questions that maybe John can answer or whatever? Okay,
I'm not allowed to vote, of course, but my advice is to not pay it. For the reasons I said earlier, I don't see what we did wrong, and I think it's a bad idea to start volunteering to pay these claims. That's
We just all need to be quiet and don't do anything.
Well, this is only on here as a discussion too, isn't it?
True.
Yeah, it's not set for action anyway, so.
Okay.
okay, no other questions? Let's move on. New business. Motion to set a date of hearing as April 28th, 2014 at 6:30 p.m. at City Hall Council Chambers in the City of Independence for consideration of adopting a resolution approving the fiscal year 2013-2014 budget amendment and authorizing the city clerk to file with the Buchanan County Auditor and the Department of Management. This is just setting the date of April 28th for this hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Hill, second by Grover.
Holland.
Holland again. Why did you guys just legally change your names for me?
We're going to have a conversation about it.
What's it cost to
And
change
there'll be
your
charts.
It's not that pricey.
name? See, you guys can do that.
Depends on the law.
Okay, motion by Holland, second by Grover. Roll call.
All in favor?
This one I don't want to, I want a roll call, no.
Just one
All of those-
question, this is
yeah.
just where we're making the necessary changes to balance out our
Current year.
current year.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. And it's just setting that as the date, so. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Oh, that's so good. Reports time. Randy, you're about the only employee that's still here. Would you have anything you'd like to share? Nothing? Okay. We're gonna go to John. Holland.
Nothing.
Mike.
The only thing I'd like to know is if, we're gonna get we're gonna get the reports from the search, the results from the search confirm, at least the initial cut down. Can we get those a little bit earlier than just a couple days before? Because we're gonna,
The last I heard that we'd have them by the 28th, but we're scheduled on the 31st to actually vote on. But we will go over each of those that night. The information they have, and they'll tell us more about those and that type of thing. So, and then what we're doing is cutting it down to, actually it'll be 6 people, 5 that we will interview, plus a backup person in case one of those 5 for some reason backs out before April 11th and 12th.
But when you say we're gonna get them on the 28th, we'll have the 12 or whatever the number is
We'll have the 10 or
here.
12 people here by
And
the 28th for you
copies
guys to
for
look
us.
at, for each of you to look at. You'll each have a packet of all those names,
On
the
the-
10 or 12.
And Dropbox.
I don't know if they'll put it on the Dropbox
Please.
and
We have a city
actually-
council meeting
or-
on the 28th.
7th,
27th?
yeah.
Oh. What was I thinking, 28th? Oh, that's April 28th.
No, it's March
Or-
28th is
oh,
when we'll
yeah.
get them.
Right.
Never mind, ignore me.
And then
Um,
March
fine.
31st is when we have a meeting here at 6:30, and that's when we'll go over and make a selection of the top 5 or 6.
But they will have all scanned, they will have scanned all of these, and so we'll have them, we can put them in Dropbox.
I don't know whether that's how they do it or not. I just was
Let's hope
told that
so.
we would have them available on the 28th.
Certainly save a tree or two,
No,
Yeah.
no kidding.
except for.
Well, unless it's ash.
Whether they realize that we can do that we have the Dropbox and we use the iPads. I can try to confirm that as to whether it'll be on your
Yeah.
Dropbox or not, and see if they can do it any quicker than the 28th.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just
will
think,
contact them and ask.
this is a pretty important thing for us to be going through, and I know we're not making the final choice, but it seems like we ought to have a little bit more time than, just a couple days, the weekend really, to look at these.
Well, the thing is, the search group itself is doing all the investigating for us. They're
Right.
gonna have all that documentation. He
Yeah.
said it would be at least a 6-page report they would be giving us on each individual candidate. And they're gonna be trying to address, they're already, in cutting these 48 applications down to 10 or 12, they've already addressed all the things that were discussed with them when we each had a meeting with them as far as what we were individually looking
Right.
for in a city manager. So they're gonna have a lot of information to you. They've already done the groundwork. Your thing is to look at it and see if there's something in there that's not there what you thought should be, or if you see something that puts up a red flag for you, that type of thing. But at that time, then on the 31st, we'll discuss all those things anyhow.
No,
So-
my only point was, it seems like they could have gotten, we should have expected the stuff a few days earlier than to get it on the weekend. Some of us might have something going on that weekend, or they got kids, It just seems like we probably have 70 or 80 pages. How many pages? Did you say 6
He
pages?
said 6
for each one?
pages
So
per
we got
candidate, so you got,
70 pages to go through, and
Yeah.
it just seems
Just some
like we
light-
could've done
Do
a
what?
little better
light
job.
reading.
yeah, light reading. While you're out fishing
Yeah.
and nothing's
There
pulling
you
on your
go.
pole,
There you go.
you can read your packet.
I will
gonna say that, Mike.
I will go along with whatever, but it just,
I will
Personally, I
I
think
will
we
get a
could
hold of
have a
them
little more
tomorrow and let them know your concerns and see
Encourage
if it's
them.
any
Yeah.
earlier, and let them know they can put it on our Dropbox, and that way you would have it at your convenience.
okay.
So I will address that.
One thing with all of these candidates is we can't be calling their city councils and,
No.
all you're doing is
Right.
reading the material. They've done all that back.
That doesn't come
Okay.
until the
Okay.
finals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Vaughn,
Nothing tonight.
okay?
Nope,
Mr. Hill, did I get the right one?
let's get name tags.
You should.
Put tape on.
Big print.
Yeah, well, both Bob and I'll put an H on our foreheads.
Oh, that will be real helpful, and I won't
know.
even comment about it. Dusted.
Yeah, I do have one thing. I talked to Mike Walker in the sewer department, earlier today. Last year, company came in and did some slip lining projects down by Teachers Park in that area, cause it brought an odd smell up into my house. And it affected some of my neighbors and some of them it didn't. Well, in the beginning of April, they're gonna start doing it again. So, and they are still working in the northeast part, actually on my block and up in my area. So, I mean, if there's an odd odor that's coming up through your drain, just be aware, in the beginning of April, they're gonna start doing this. Mainly it comes through if your floor drain is dry, has a dry trap in it. If you dump some water down, it usually goes away. But like I said, my wife even got to the point where she called the fire department because she was worried what it was. So, I mean, don't be surprised starting April that this starts coming back again, because I don't know where else they're going other than where I'm at right now is where they're gonna start.
Right.
So,
And I think from that note that Mike left you, that they'll be putting door hanger things on each
Yep.
door that
They got
might
these-
be affected by that.
these nice orange little
Yeah.
hangers, they're gonna try to start putting these on. I also told him to contact the dispatch area and the fire department, so if anybody has a smell coming through and they contact them, they'll know where these people are at and what they're
Right.
doing, so that they're aware of it. So, they don't think that, it's a big major problem or something, so.
Right. Good. Thank you.
Yep.
Austin?
From how everyone's doing tonight, I can tell that we are all extremely exhausted and ready to go home, and I am a part of that group as well, so nothing for me.
Okay, thank you.
I have nothing.
Okay, Carter?
We're gonna have a meeting Thursday night, and I'm in discussion with the mayor and some other individuals on how we're actually gonna conduct that meeting. I'm not sure how it's gonna fall together yet, but that's on my task list to get done. And I'm gonna figure out a way to make it happen as efficiently and as productively as possible. I can guarantee you that. How we're gonna do it, I don't know yet. But I'm on that, and I'll see you Thursday night.
Is it gonna be an official meeting or a workshop?
Well,
It's a special meeting.
I think you posted it as a special meeting, is the way it's gonna be. And so we'll post it, and I don't think we televise those, but I think we obviously keep minutes, and I assume I assume we just televise the regular meetings, not special meetings.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever have. Do you know if we have? I don't think so.
Special
Yeah,
meeting.
Right.
we are a new era.
Yeah, but we'll get it all figured out.
Okay. Barb?
The housing rehab program, I was contacted by Cindy Knox, and she had somebody opt out that isn't going to take advantage. He was qualified, so she's saying if we know of anybody that's interested to contact her at Intercog, or you can pick up an application here at City Hall. And that was the northeast quadrant, so, of the city. We already covered the special meetings. Vicki and I will be at the IMFOA conference April 8th through the 11th in Des Moines. So, Mayor will be here by herself. Bear with her, please.
So you're not gonna be here for the 11th when we start our interview process? You won't be back then?
Well, we'll have to, we can come back, we can leave we can work out those details later.
Okay.
You'll be here the 12th, won't you?
Yes.
I mean, the 11th is just isn't that just the reception?
Interview,
No, interviews
Interviews.
on the 11th,
We're interviewing on Friday?
Friday
did last-
and Saturday.
No, we didn't last time. They came in on Friday night, did the
Social?
social at the library community room, and then we did all the interviewing on Saturday.
On Friday now we'll talk about this and have more details on the 31st when they come back and we cut down our 5 people. My understanding is that on Friday, we will be giving them tours of the community. I'm not sure exactly whether we're gonna have 1 van, 2 vans, how that's gonna work out. We have 2 lined up in case, because there's a time span to do that, which seems like too short a time for me, so we need to discuss that. Then we will be doing interviews, 2 council members and me and a council member, since there's 7 of you, will interview each candidate alone. I mean, we will go through on Friday an interview, but it will just be 2 people to one candidate at a time. And then we will have the social time, which we're doing at River Edge for that. Then we will go out to dinner. I think we're supposed to be finished by about 7:30, 8 o'clock by that. And then we start bright and early, 8 o'clock Saturday morning. And that's when we will be, as a group, interviewing each candidate. the whole council. The employee department heads as a group will interview each candidate separate. And then I'll have a citizens group of anywhere from 5 to 8 people who will interview each candidate. And those two groups will actually just give us more or less their grading or what their, ranking. I don't know exactly how they'll do that. And then by the time we've done all those interviews, they can go home from wherever home is, and we will make a decision at that point as to who we want to hire.
Will it
On
be all
Saturday.
day Friday then? Should we-
No, I don't
for
think
those
they
of us
come
working,
in.
Do we need to set up a personal day or something to take off?
I'm not sure, because I think it is it starts in the afternoon.
I mean, I just so
But,
you kinda
but it
know
seems to
ahead.
me that the tours were like 1:45, 1:30 to 2:30, something like that. It was only like an hour, hour and a half. And then I was thinking we might do the interviews after that. So we'll have to work out those details. And if we want to do it differently, we just work that out with them on the 31st as to how we want this to flow and what's going to work for us. This is just their method of how they do their searches and stuff, which is a little different than what we did the last time. So, wish I could give you a better answer, and like I say, we do have some input into this as to if that formula's not gonna work, we'll figure out what else. There might be a portion of that we might have to cut out or do something, so.
Did we reserve McDonald's for supper?
No, actually, I ended up, our dinner on Friday night is at Costa's, because there's weddings going on in Independence that weekend. And so Bill's was not available, Okoboji Grill was not available. I even thought about catering and such. And when Steve was here last weekend, we talked to him, he even said, well, you don't have to have something real fancy, Costa's, anything like that would work. So I did talk to them, and they do have a variety of menus. They would probably want us to pick 2 or 3 items rather than ordering off the menu with that many people. But they were excited about the chance to show off their business and this type of thing. So that's what we're planning on doing.
Sounds good.
So